Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I'll be discussing whether I'm going to be making any reading resolutions in 2016. No! At the end of 2014 I said that I wanted to read more non-fiction books this year. I bought one and I haven't read it, and I haven't read any non-fiction since I was at university. And this was my big resolution, and it was because I want to read as widely as I can in as many genres as I can. And although I've read more poetry this year, I haven't read any of the essays or the non-fiction that I wanted to go out and buy. And I have a library. I could have gone to the library, I could have gone to the literature section, and I could have got myself these textbooks and these... I like to be absorbing as much information as I can, and I'm not able to do that. When I'm writing my books, I'm not the best person who does research, but I do like to book form than I do on the internet or in giant textbooks like we have up here that I don't think you can see. I think that I'd still like to read some more essays and non-fiction in 2016, but whether I do that or not, I'm not going to make it official and say, yes, I have to read this. And the other thing is about a Goodreads goal, and every year I felt like the Goodreads goal is really stopping me from reading the bigger books. Like when I was reading The Goldfinch and the Luminaries, I was very aware of the fact that I was reading a dense book, and I'm reading The Name of the Wind at the moment, and originally it took me 10 days and now it's nearly a month, and it's simply because I am thinking about the Goodreads goal all the time. And I've passed my Goodreads goal of 30 books, but I'm constantly trying to hit this mark. I don't think that I'll make a Goodreads goal next year. I think myself, I'm always going to try and hit a target amount of books, and I don't think any form of Goodreads goal is going to change that, because I always write down the books that I'm reading as like a reading log throughout the year, and when I think back to things that have happened in my life, I can associate them with that book then, and I can think, well, this is why this book meant so much to me at that time. And I don't think that a Goodreads goal is going to actually impact me that much either way, so we'll see about that one. But really, I think that my biggest focus in 2016 has to be the writing rather than reading books. I think that's because at the start of this year I'd made the decision to release Doris, and in February I finished the book, and up until June I was working really hard on the book. So I wasn't really writing at the time. I'd written it and then I was editing it, and then I was doing the cover, and I was working on getting all of these different places that I could go and read. So I didn't really focus so much on writing. But then I've kind of just slipped out of writing, and for some reason, somehow, I don't understand it, the months have just got away from me. Some stuff happened around August and September that I won't go into. Then I went on holiday, and then we're here. And we're here with having not read much, having not written much, and kind of feeling disappointed with the way the year has gone as a whole. And I think I can keep saying that, oh, we'll change that next year, but really we should focus on changing it today. So I'm going to try and focus on writing anyway. I just looking at my writing more and trying to get not so much done, but just trying to remember that first and foremost, writing is the career I wish to pursue, and I have to stop thinking of everything else as procrastinating. So I want to watch a film. I have to think of that as I want to watch that film. It's not me procrastinating from writing, it's something I want to do. And for so long there are certain things that I've done where I've been like, oh no, we're stopping ourselves from writing here, we can't do this, and ultimately the writing then doesn't happen because I'm just thinking about this other thing that I could be doing. So we will see. We will see in the new year, or tomorrow, I don't know. Again, I'm getting so depressing nowadays. Lord. I'm still drinking tea, so it can't be that. Maybe it is that. Maybe I've developed an addiction to caffeine that cannot be stemmed by tannin. Isn't that a strange thought? I did consider alcoholism for a time, but I just don't have the budget. I can't even become a drunk. My tea habit's kind of funded by my mother because she buys the PG tips. What are we going to do? I don't know. I tried developing an addiction to reading books, but that kind of just seems to be rearranging things on my shelf so that they look pretty, so that went out the window. And I'd show you my room, but it's chaos. I used to call it organised chaos, but this is just a mess. We were talking about reading resolutions, weren't we? So yeah, there aren't really any reading resolutions for the next year. I just want to read some books, and there's only one book that I'm looking forward to. That's Truthwitch by Susan Dennett, and I might have ordered 2 copies because I desperately want one to get here on the day it comes out, and I kind of don't want to wait because I've been waiting for a long time now, and the Something Strange and Deadly series was incredible, and Truthwitch is fantasy. Fantasy's my genre, so I waited for a long time for this book. I waited for a very long time for this book, and that is the only book that I want to read next year. Oh, but here's the resolution. We intend to actually reread books next year. So, like, obviously, The Name of the Wind is a reread, and I have the sequel to read, and I'm going to be buddy reading things with Lindsay, a friend of mine, so we're going to be reading The Way of Kings in January. I don't know whenever we'll get round to Words of Radiance, but these are the things that I'm going to be doing. And so I know I definitely want to read Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and I want to read the Something Strange and Deadly series because Truthwitch is coming out quite soon, so I have like a week to read that, but originally I read them in like 3 hours at a time, so that's like a day's reading for me. He says, but you know, we haven't really been doing much reading to like qualify that. I also want to, what do I want to reread? I want to reread a lot of things, like the Demon's Lexicon series for one, because I want to see how I feel about this after. When did this book come out? Blooming heck, this book came out in 2009. I was still a teenager. I was holding on to my youth. Whatever happened there? I also want to reread The Rabbi's Cat because I got it for Christmas. I got The Rabbi's Cat for Christmas. I also got The Rabbi's Cat 2, and I got some other things. And yes, I was very much like a child when I opened up The Rabbi's Cat because I have that book in my life now. The world is like, it's doing something right. It's doing something right because it brought me The Rabbi's Cat. And now I can read that and I can change my life again because that book really made me respect philosophy and religion all over again, and it really made me think about things. And I'm talking quite fast now, but I don't care. I also probably, what else do I need to reread? Oh, and I want to reread the Mortal Instruments series because also looking forward to Lady Midnight, have that on pre-order, and I probably need to get round to reading The Wrath and the Dawn because I've seen a book and I don't know if it's a sequel. Could it be a sequel? If you know the answer, do tell me. If it is a sequel, I've pre-ordered that as well, so, you know, I've not read that book, I don't even know whether I like it. Wow, calm down. There's a lot of rereading to be done, and there are so many books. There are so many books. People go out. I can really recommend a book. It's called Our Doris. I wrote it. It's fantastic. 5 stars on Goodreads. Yes, I may have paid a friend to do that. And yes, my mother enjoyed it. And do you know what? Here's a funny story for you. After I released the book, I became really enthusiastic because a 5-star review appeared on Amazon. And I was like, we've got a 5-star review of someone we don't know. This is great. I should have clicked on the name. It was my cousin. So, well, no, it was it was either my cousin or my cousin's wife. Either way. Family. Will they ever get anything right? Until next time, that is all.